Hi guys and welcome to my channel. In this video I'm gonna show you the game Legends of Runeterra, a new free-to-play card game developed by the same company that also made League of Legends. As a long-term Hearthstone player who have spent huge amount of time collecting cards, testing decks and gaining high ranks in Hearthstone, it is not easy for me to accept the idea of an alternative in the same genre. Yes, I like to try and explore new games, but soon after that I usually return to the game in which I have put so much effort in improving my skills and gain a good ranking position. It is almost like spending years in World of Warcraft, having dozens of max level characters, collecting items, gold, pets, mounts, and at the same time considering playing another MMORPG. Eventually you may decide to move to the other game, but the decision is not easy to be made. So I was in the same position regarding the Legends of Runeterra, but when I tried the game for a first time, I found myself having a very good time exploring and playing the game for hours. That was a sign for me that the game definitely deserves attention, and I decided to share with you my experience. In Legends of Runeterra, like in other games in this genre, there are two opponents fighting each other with decks of cards. Currently there are two modes, Constructive mode and a Draft mode. The Constructive mode is very similar to Standard and Wild modes in Hearthstone. You build custom decks with the cards that you have already collected and play games against an opponent. Same as in Hearthstone, you have Normal and Ranked mode. Normal is good for learning, testing different decks and having fun. Ranked mode is also good for having fun, especially if you win more often than you lose, but you also climb through a ranking system. There are 7 rank tiers, from Iron to Master. Each one has 4 different divisions, first being the highest division. You can get promoted and demoted. It is very similar to Hearthstone. There are also expeditions, which are the draft mode in the game and very similar to Arena in Hearthstone. In this mode you don't use the cards in your collection. Instead, you get cards with a series of picks and trades. I'll explain more about this mode later in this video. Let me first explain some basics and the mechanics of the game. The mechanics in Legends of Runeterra is much different than that in Hearthstone. Everything happens much slower. There are much more animations in the game. Those animations are nice and I personally like them, but sometimes when I play a ranked game I find them a little distracting. It would be good if there was an option to enable and disable them. The mechanics is more complicated to understand at first, but once you figure it out, you will discover many new ideas, strategies and tactics that don't exist in Hearthstone. Let me quickly explain the elements on the board for those of you who are not familiar with this type of games. The board is split in two, one half for each player. At the lower half is your area, with your nexus, your deck and your cards. At the upper half is the area of your opponent. Players begin the game with a maximum of 20 health, which is represented by their nexus. Your goal is to destroy the enemy nexus before he destroys yours. The area above the cards is where you put units in play. This is the first big difference compared to Hearthstone, and where the thing gets a little more complicated. It is like a buffer area between your hand and the battlefield. Your cards can trigger their effects and can be buffed or hit by spells, but they cannot directly attack enemy units. The attacking and the blocking is happening in the combat zone, here in the middle of the map. There you put all the units that you want to attack or block the enemy. When they are attacking, your units will always hit from left to right. And when they are blocking, you choose which enemy unit you want to block and which of your units you want to use for that. In Hearthstone you don't have that middle area. Everything happens on the board. Later I'll explain a little more about the attacking and blocking. On the right side is your mana bar. There are 2 types of mana, normal mana and spell mana. Up to 3 unused normal mana will be converted into spell mana at the end of the round. Spell mana can only be used for spells. You can also have guardians. They are funny cosmetic creatures that appear on your board and sometimes react to what is happening during the match. Now you will see where the things get even more interesting. The main difference in game mechanics between Hearthstone and Legends of Runeterra is that in Hearthstone each player uses his cards in the hand and minions on the board in one turn. The opponent can't do anything until that turn finishes. Then it's his turn, during which you can't do anything, besides just wait and see what your opponent will do. So in other words, in Hearthstone only the attacker is making moves and taking actions. In Legends of Runeterra, there are rounds, which consist of many turns and exchanged actions between both players, till they deplete their mana or decide to pass. The opponent has a chance to react to some of your actions, which is not possible in Hearthstone. In Hearthstone you can cast Flame Strike and instantly kill all opponent minions with 4 or below health, and he can do nothing to prevent that. In Runeterra, the opponent has a chance to react before such powerful spells can take effect. For example, he can cast a spell in return that increases his unit's health, or he can cast a spell that eliminates yours. So there are situations where you are about to do something and the opponent has a chance to make your move useless in many ways and make you waste your mana. You can also put a unit in play and then the opponent can react with doing the same or with casting a spell. At the beginning of the game and the first round, a player is randomly chosen to receive an attack token. This means that he can attack with his units and the opponent can block. Next round is the opposite. When a player is about to attack, he can choose with which units to do that, and the opponent can choose whether to block and also with which of his units. The round is over when both sides can't make more actions or have passed. When the round is over, the defending player receives the attack token for the next one. All this may sound complicated, but there are nice in-game tutorials and you can always play a few games versus computer if something wasn't clear enough. I'm also going to make more videos with guides and tips for Legends of Runeterra, so consider subscribing to my channel if you are interested in this game. Same as in Hearthstone, each card has mana cost, attack, health points and can also have special effects. There are 3 types of cards: champions, units, or also called followers, and spells. Champions are cards with very powerful abilities. These cards can level up if a specific condition was met during the game. In constructive mode you can have up to 6 champions in your deck, up to 3 of the same kind. Once a champion levels up, he becomes stronger and may have additional effects. The next card type are the units. In Hearthstone they are known as minions. They also can have special effects. You can always check what those effects mean by clicking on them even during the fight. The third type of cards are the spells. There are 3 different kinds of spells. Slow spells that require more time to process and cannot be cast during combat, which means during attacking and blocking. The speed of their effect is similar to the secrets in Hearthstone. You can cast them, but then you wait for the opponent's turn to see if they will be triggered. There are fast spells that can be cast during combat, but the opponent has a chance to react. And burst spells that have instant effect and can be cast anytime without a response from your opponent. They are similar to most spells in Hearthstone, where when you cast a spell it has instant effect, and the only thing that can prevent that effect is if your opponent has an active counter spell secret. Cards also have rarity. They are common, rare, epic and champions. And here comes the big questions. How do you get these cards? Do you have to play for months to fill your most wanted deck? No. That may surprise some of you, but the best way to get more cards in Legends of Runeterra is actually to play the game, gain experience and get your rewards from different places. And this is not the only good thing compared to Hearthstone. In Hearthstone I usually play with Hunter, Mage, Paladin and Priest classes, but most of the time I feel like I'm getting new cards exactly for those classes that I'll probably never use and play with. It is a very frustrating experience when you wait a long time for a legendary card and eventually you get one, but for a class that you never play. In Legends of Runeterra you can decide from which region your cards will be coming from. What are regions? In Hearthstone you have class-specific cards and neutral cards. In Runeterra, cards are region-specific. There are 7 regions: Demacia, Freljord, Ionia, Noxus, Piltover Zone, Bilgewater and Shadow Isles, each offering different playstyle and mechanics. In same deck you can have cards from up to 2 regions. You can also craft cards, similar to Hearthstone. with shards, wild cards and coins. Shards you get with playing the game. Wild cards you can both get with playing the game and real money. And coins you buy with real money. The good news here is that there is a limited amount of cards that someone can get with real money each week. So this is not the fastest way and cannot be used as an advantage. I don't know what will happen in the future major expansions of this game, but currently getting cards is a very easy and entertaining process. Expeditions are also very interesting and rewarding mode. As I mentioned earlier, in this mode you don't use the cards in your collection. Instead, you get cards with a series of picks and trades. First, you pay your entry fee with coins, shards or tokens. The first difference compared to Arena in Hearthstone is that here, with one entry fee you can play two separate runs, called trials, with completely different decks. The better performance among them determines your final reward. The more wins you have, the better the reward will be. During the first two rounds of your draft picks, you pick champions. Along with each champion, you will also get two cards from the same region. Then you have synergy picks and wild picks. During synergy picks, you will have choices that are more related to what you already have in your deck, while during wild picks, you will get cards that are much different. Finally, in the last preparation round, you will have the option to switch one of your cards with another one, which is the last chance to adjust your deck before your first match. After each game, you will receive more chances to improve your deck. Each trial continues until you either win all 7 matches, or you lose 2 consecutive matches, with one exception. You will get only one chance to win the final match. If you lose, the trial ends. Currently, the game is available for PC, iOS and Android. Mac is not supported yet. Something that I don't like in the mobile version is that it is not well adapted for small screens. The interface is almost the same like in the desktop version, but most elements are too small on a mobile phone screen, even on mine which has 5.5-inch screen. It's not comfortable to read that small text on the cards or try to click the additional information on them. I don't have such problems in Hearthstone, where the mobile version looks much more like a, well, mobile version. So that is Legends of Runeterra. Thanks for watching my video. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel so you don't miss my next guides and reviews. Also don't forget to hit the notification bell. If you have any feedback or you want to share your experience with this game, feel free to leave a comment below. Thanks again for watching and I'll see you in the next one.